So from an overall landscape perspective, female participation in technology is a challenge. In STEM education alone, females represent only 25% of STEM graduates. In technology, it's even more alarming, with only 10 or 15% participants being female. Here at Fidelity Ireland, we've been working on a range of initiatives to try and support greater gender participation in technology. There's a long way to go. Overall participation in technology across Ireland is at about 35%. In our graduate programme over the last 7 years, we've averaged 31% female graduates. And also, I'm delighted that my technology leadership team is actually 57% female, which is very, very unusual in our industry. As I mentioned, it's a major concern for the industry, but equally we need to look at the business imperatives for participation and gender diversity in our industry. So for example, Fidelity's customers are ever increasing female. So we need to think about how our population who are developing products on their behalf represents the audience who are going to consume our products on the marketplace. As a recognised priority of our global leadership, we have given considerable thought as to how we support our female associates at critical junctures in their career. That includes everything from how we support our female associates who are already on board. One of the real challenges we were seeing is our senior engineers were not applying for principal roles or for architecture roles. We've put some supports in place, for example, the setup of mentoring circles to provide a very safe environment for those females to discuss their concerns. And as a result, we found greater participation in terms of applications for those roles, but also greater outcomes in terms of success in achieving those roles. Equally, we have a number of groups that support our associates at work. These include our Women's Leadership Group and our Women in Technology Special Interest Groups. These are bodies at grassroots level that support our employees in the workplace.
It takes a strong commitment from leadership and all levels of the organisation to fully commit to gender diversity. Our Women's Leadership Group and our Women in Technology Special Interest Group influence how we behave and understand the challenges that we face as a business. Grassroots movements like this are absolutely necessary to mobilise an entire workforce around gender diversity. Our CSR programme Fidelity Cares is committed to several STEM initiatives, creating opportunities for future generations and challenging traditional pipelines. Fidelity is also active in primary schools, secondary schools, third level, and also with our graduate intake programme. Within Fidelity, we appointed a diversity and inclusion director, supporting our business initiatives around retaining, developing and supporting our associates through the career life cycle. We are also leveraging a return to work programme to attract experienced talent back into STEM. At Fidelity, it's important to us that we lead and advocate for STEM across the industry. And with that, several of our Fidelity leaders are involved in organisations such as ITAG, Technology Ireland, ICT SkillsNet and the 30% Club. You must be willing to tackle gender diversity within your organisation and across the industry.
Earlier I talked a little bit about participation rates in technology, and they are a challenge. This has meant that we've had to look at alternate pipelines. So for instance, this year we ran a number of special sessions in our offices focusing on a returning population. So those who had worked in the industry previously, maybe moved to industries or took a career break. So that's one area that I think everyone in the industry needs to focus on, because it's very clear that over the coming years, the graduate population and the graduate pipelines are not going to meet the demand for talent in the technology industry. The next learning really focuses on who are the career influencers. And generally that is mothers, our parents, or indeed teachers and career guidance teachers in school. So we've also focused on that area by running specific workshops for career guidance teachers to bring them in, meet some of our associates and learn that there are a variety of careers in technology. So for instance, it's not just about, the engineer sitting in the corner with the headphones on, operating as a sole individual. Most of our associates here work in teams. We also have, a lot of folks who are working in creative areas. So for instance, we have fine art graduates who are part of our design groups. These are opportunities to provide, an insight and see role models in a broad spectrum of careers, and that's really, really important, both in terms of the influencers and the potential employees in technology into the future. Another area we focus on is we have a very strong diversity dashboard, which informs us internally in terms of how we're doing, where we may need to pivot, areas we need to focus on. That's something that we view right at the executive level in the organisation, and it informs our strategy into the future. Many of the initiatives that we've run with over the last few years have been informed by the data, and it's important not just to run the programmes but also to understand the impact of those programmes.
Certain elements of the programs that have worked successfully for us at Fidelity absolutely are transferable, but some may need to be adjusted. For example, Fidelity recently launched a new employee resource group called Enable for those that are differently abled. This has required us to look at our hiring pipelines, our physical environment, and the coaching and support that we provide to this group. What it really takes is commitments at all levels of the organisation, and only then can you achieve anything.